please stand for the pledge led by Mr. Wicker?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody, for coming today. Let the record show that all 7 members are present. And first up is approval of our August 20th minutes. Would I like to make a motion?
Move for approval of the August 20th.
A motion by Mr. Wicker. Second by Mr. Wyeth. All in favor, say so by saying aye.
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 I'll say aye as to the portion of the meeting that I was here for.
Motion carries 7-0. Is there anybody here in the public that would like to make any comments? Okay. So first up is adoption of the Avon Washington Township Library 2025 Budget Ordinance 2024-38. We've already held public hearings for this, so today is the day.
And Laurel is,
Do you have any questions or anything? Or?
I did want to let you know, we had it as an agenda item on our September board meeting, and we did not have any public input at that meeting, nor did I receive any communications about the proposal.
Okay, thank you. Anybody like to make a motion?
So moved. Move the approval.
Motion by Mr. Hessen, second by Mr. Cox. Any other discussion? All in favor, say so by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries 7-0. Next up, there is a public hearing for the Hendricks County Highway Garage Geo Bonds. This is the second preliminary determination, and I'll open the public hearing. Is there anybody here that wishes to speak about the Hendricks County Highway Garage Geo Bonds? Let the record show that nobody's here to speak, so we'll close the public hearing. So I don't know if I turn it over to you guys to talk about what's going on, or?
Yeah, Adam Meyer from the tech team again. Greg Gertaz, Financial Solutions Group, and Mike Gertaz is with me today. And so, Adam.
Adam Sturl, Barnes and Thornburg Bond Counsel for the county. Thanks again for having us today. So you just had the second preliminary determination hearing. You had the first at your last meeting. So now we actually have the preliminary determination resolution that put all that information that we presented at the last meeting, which I also, again, have handouts if anybody needs them or if the public wants them, puts it in resolution form. If you adopt it today, Thursday, and notice will be published in the Republican, which starts a 30-day clock for any balance to trigger the petition remonstrance process. If that all goes through with that not happening, then bonds can be issued later this year.
So I have copies of our report if you need it, but as you know, what we're doing is working with Nancy and paying off our 2 existing GEO bonds. And we've given, I believe, Nancy, you the payoff information. I've got a copy of the report if you still need it. And
I haven't received anything recently.
okay, so go ahead and give her a copy of that report, the payoff report. And then we'll be, as those are being paid off, then we'll be issuing, assuming that you approve it, we'll be issuing the new bonds. Now, the way we want to do that is, I know the county's been contacted about underwriters. Now, remember, I'm your independent financial advisor. So under Securities and Exchange Commission rules and regs, which I have a Series 50, I represent you being the taxpayer, okay? I have a fiduciary duty where I have to act as if it was my own money. So the way we normally do this, and we just did this for Plainfield Community Schools and their $26 million refunding bond. And actually, we got the bids in last week. They came in even below 3%, but it's a short term. And so we got over 6 underwriters and banks to really kind of compete and put in a bid on that. And so we now have selected one underwriter and we're moving ahead. And that's what we're proposing to do with you all. So I guess I'd like a nod or something that's acceptable so that I can put it in our work paper file, that is how you want to do it. And it really just makes the underwriters kind of compete. And recall, underwriters are representing the investing public, not you, okay? Our job is to represent you. So once we get, pardon me?
You're managing the process.
Yeah, and once we get those RFPs in, we'll summarize them, and then we'll give you results of the summarizing, including all of the premium, the discount, the underwriter's discount, any other fees, lawyer fees, and all that. We'll kind of sum that into the best bid. And then we'll start going from there as far as closing the deal, or actually selling the deal and closing the deal. There is about a week or two gap between when we get the RFP in and when we usually sell it. And the reason for that is usually timing of the market and letting them pre-sell, the selected underwriter, pre-sell the bonds, okay? And so that's what takes place kind of once we get the results in, and then they go out and actually sell it. The overall goal is at the lowest interest rate, overall lowest cost for the community. That's the key. And the community being you and the taxpayer, obviously. And so that's how we'd like to proceed, assuming no one has an issue with that. So I'd like to get a,
I
Proceed.
move.
Okay, well, hold on, we're still,
I think that was independent of, that was.
I know, but we have a resolution we have to pass before we do any of that.
Okay.
Because we haven't decided we're gonna sell the bond yet.
In the event we do sell,
So,
Did you bring your crystal ball? Do you have
You
any
know,
idea what's likely to happen?
as I told you, the interest rate, the coupon on the bond will be more than likely, we got 4s in Plainfield last week. It could be 4 to 5. The coupon stated rate. Recall, I told you that would generate significant premium. And Adam, what are we gonna do with the premium?
Probably just lower the
Bond size.
principal amount. Yeah.
Right, so that's also why we negotiate this with an underwriter, is we'll lower the principal amount. So if you've got the not to exceed in there of 19 million, we might end up only issuing 18, right? With the premium. So recall then, what happens is the investor gives you more than $5,000 for that bond, okay? That's called premium. That goes back to Finance 101, okay? And so when we add all that up and we work through it, that's how it all shake out. So the overall net interest cost should be around 3.5%. And recall that we'll have an off-ramp like we do on all the other bonds in probably the 8 or 10 year mark, as I've told you many times, okay? And that'll be another negotiating point with the underwriter, okay? At some point in time, a lot of people, like Monroe County, they asked me last week, well, what if we made it 5 years? Well, then it starts costing you too much, okay? So there's a sweet spot, so to speak. Banks really like to buy part of the bond issue. They don't like to buy the whole thing, not 26 million and not 19 million. So they'll buy the first 7 maturities maybe. And they want to hold it and lock it up for their pension fund. And they know that stated interest rate. That's what they're buying. And so that's why, it works well.
they're just ensuring their ROI, right?
Yes, guaranteeing it, right, in essence.
Has
Yeah.
the anticipated decrease in the Fed rate?
It's not a dollar for dollar. Muni bonds track with treasuries. They don't track with the Fed, right? Okay, a lot of people think, oh, wow, but right now, munis are very, very high in demand because people want tax sheltered. And if it's Indiana, consult your local attorney or your local accountant, but usually they're double free tax, both state and federal. Yeah, and so, so it's always been a good market. We don't think it's an oversold market, given what we've seen in Plainfield, there's a huge demand. And so, but again, it was shorter. It was about 7 years, I think.
So that's why the underwriters are being pretty competitive, because there's not a lot of supply right now.
Correct. And some of them lock up certain situations and, and others don't get those type of considerations. So they want to compete and they want to try and buy some. So that's why they've come out of the woodwork usually.
Okay, so would somebody like to make a motion to approve resolution 2024-37, preliminary adoption of the preliminary determination resolution for the issuance of the bonds?
So, second.
Moved by Mr. Brown, second by Mr. Hessen. Any other discussion? All in favor, state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Now, would anybody like to make a motion to go ahead and do an RFP for?
Eric, I would have us do the last two things and then that by way of the
Okay.
additional appropriation hearing and then the actual bond ordinance, which
Okay,
lays all
so
the
do
bonds.
those first, okay? I can do that. All right, so if you guys want to sit down for a second, we have another public hearing. I don't know if anybody's going to speak, but I'll now open the public hearing for the bond proceeds additional appropriation. Is there anybody here who'd like to speak on that? There is not, so we'll close the public hearing. Okay, now, good one for that part. This is considering ordinance 2024-31 is an ordinance of the Hendricks County Council authorizing the issuance of general obligation bonds for the purpose of providing funds to design, construct, and equip a new county highway garage and pay the cost of issuance of the bonds.
Perfect. Yeah, so this is probably what you're really used to, what we've done in small bonds in the past. The preliminary determination hearings and resolutions is just because you're over the $6.4 million threshold. So that's just an extra state law procedure. So now we're kind of back right to where you are, I would imagine, most comfortable with this, the bond ordinance. This is the same bond ordinance as you introduced the last time, no changes. Max of $19,051,000. Any questions?
Want to move for approval of ordinance number 2024-31?
Yes, please, thank
There
you.
you go.
Motion by Mr. Wicker, second by Mr. Scott. Any other discussion? All in favor, say so by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you.
Is that everything we need for that? Now we can say we want to do the RFPs. Somebody can make a motion to put it out. Mr. Wyeth makes a motion to approve our team to request proposals for the bond issuance. Second by Caleb Brown. Any other discussion? All in favor, state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries 7-0.
Thank you very much.
Now, does this next ordinance for the modification of income rates, we've already had a public hearing on it, no? Okay, so now we'll open up the public hearing for ordinance 2024-30, which is an ordinance modifying local income tax rates in Hendricks County. And what we are doing is we are taking 0.5% from the jail bond because we have. it's
Correctional
correctional
facilities.
facilities rate, and they're putting that into the edit rate,
Or seated.
seated. So tax rates are not increasing, we're just moving where they go when they come in.
Correct. The key is the LIT rate in total is not changing. So that's very, very important to the taxpayer, which I am because I live here. And so, we're keeping it at the same level. We're just, since there's several taxes that make that up, and they have to be proportional, they have to be proportioned according to the law. We're taking the jail correctional facility, which is funding the jail facility and the operations quite well. And you saw the over 20-year projection that I made for you during your budget session. And so we're taking that down and we're increasing the audit. No absolute, we're going to look at it again next year about E911, but this will give some of the municipalities and the county some money to fund with cash some of the roundabouts and things like that. So we're gonna employ that into our capital improvement plan. So remember, I
Proactive
keep,
adjustment,
pardon me?
just proactive adjustment.
Yes,
To better
yes.
utilize dollars later.
Yeah, and then be able to do debt and equity, have this as the equity component of what we're trying to get done in the capital plan.
Can I make a comment?
Sure.
I think for a growing county, this makes a lot of sense. I just still have some reluctancy due to the fact a small municipality can lock it in for us not being able to change it if they borrow against it.
Sure.
I understand they'd have to have a pretty high debt ratio, but I
Yeah.
just a little bit.
Yeah, there's no
I just wanna
absolute
make sure I'm
scale.
clear in understanding that to say, yeah, that could happen and we might be stuck here, but
Yeah.
I'd probably rather have it stuck here than in the jail correctional facility where we don't need it.
It's, and obviously, we can do more things with those dollars.
Yeah, I know that can go further other places, it's just seems odd that, I mean, if a small municipality went rogue, it locks it in. That seems very,
There'd be a
that should be
consequence to that.
fixed.
Is this gonna adjust like $3 or $4 million, Greg? Was that a number I
Correct.
was thinking of?
Eric always has one,
It's right around there.
That's just sort of off my head. I'm just,
Yeah.
I think you're.
we provided those in our analysis to you.
lots of numbers here.
So with that, we'll open the public hearing. Anybody here wish to speak about that ordinance 2024 modifying local income tax rates? Yes, sir. Please state your name and address for the record.
Jim Murphy, 10726 North State Road, 267, Brownsburg, Indiana.
Thank you.
I'd just like to get a better understanding of what's going on. I understand the lit will not increase. So what are these extra funds going to be used for?
Okay. So, when was that? What year did we pass the .2 for the jail?
19.
The public safety low, that was 19.
That's when we implemented it.
Was it 19 we implemented it? Right around there.
October,
I think so.
believe.
So back in October of 19-ish, the council, we knew we were going to be building a new correctional facility. And state code allows us to pass an income tax rate up to 0.2% to pay for that facility. You can also use, is it 20% of those funds for operational uses? So we did that in 2020. So we actually, the council increased our tax rate in 2020 by 0.2%, or 2019, which would have taken effect in 2020. In 2020, or 2021, late 2020, early 2021, we issued bonds, and that tax rate has been paying for the jail. And part of it's going to operations. Our income taxes come up, and it's that we don't need all of that amount of rate to cover the operational expenses or the bond payments on the jail. Even reducing it, we are bringing in more than we need to do both of those things. So we are taking 0.05 of the 0.2%. We're switching that over to edit, which is just income tax. So the public safety levy, the county kept all that money, just the county government itself. By taking this 0.05% from that and putting it into just the regular edit, now the county will take that, we only get to keep a portion of it, and the rest goes out to the local units of government that receive income tax. So your tax rate will stay the same. Instead of the county getting all that to pay for the correctional facilities, that 0.05% will now be distributed out to all units of government in the county that receive income tax, or edit income tax.
Spectacular explanation.
Does that help, or is that clear as mud?
And Brownsburg gets to use it however they want.
Yeah, they can use it, the towns, they can use it however they want to, yes.
How's the edit fund?
Hold on, yes, sir,
So does it go proportionally to all?
based on their income tax they receive now.
It's actually based upon their assessed value or assessed value and property tax levy. So each entity levies so much property taxes. Let's say hypothetically Brownsburg was 20%, okay, on property taxes of the total of that make up the entities that share in added. which is really just cities and towns, okay? That 20% then is used to allocate, basically edit.
So the township would not.
The township will not receive
not
any,
receive
but the towns will. Additional funds.
Because it's cities and towns.
And the county.
And the county, yes.
Right,
So
and
if he lives in the
So
county,
you, so your county, yes, you will still, you're being in the county and not in the town, you will still, our portion of it that the county outside of the town still is available to use for people in the county.
But again, it's based on the assessed value of each unit,
That's how it's distributed, yes.
but it doesn't apply to township government.
Right, because township government does not get, they don't get it. They're not part of it now.
Or schools or libraries.
Or schools or libraries.
It's technically economic development, income tax.
Economic development income tax,
but
so,
the county portion is gonna benefit the township.
yes. It's not like the township's
What we
losing money,
keep.
you're still keeping, the part that benefits the entire county is still going to do.
We got
that.
incorporated area.
Unincorporated areas,
Build a road.
to build a road or.
Or a bridge or
Roundabout.
roundabout in.
Makes the funds more flexible for us to utilize.
Yes.
So rural areas might benefit on a road project.
So, yeah, where all the money before was going towards the correctional facility payments and all that, which benefits everybody in the county. I mean, it's, we have to have it, the jail. But, so now, what is it, about 40% the county keeps? That's
Yes.
unincorporated. So the county of that, say it's, to make numbers easy, it's about $4 million now that's gonna be pulled out of that payment. And then, so 40% of that 4 million will go to the county. These are all close numbers, not exact. So the county is gonna have an additional $1.6 million that's not gonna be going paid towards the jail that we can use towards other projects in the county. It gives us more flexibility because the jail tax can only be used for correctional facility. Do you have anything?
That was my question.
Okay,
How the allocation was going.
Yep.
But to be clear, it is not an increase.
but it's not an increase. We are maintaining.
Same
our-
Shift.
reallocating for better.
Are there
use
any
of
other
funds.
questions? Public hearing? With that, we will close the public hearing. So can we vote on this today then?
Yes.
Okay.
Make a motion to
We have a motion by Mr. Cox to approve ordinance 2024-30. Second by Mr. Scott. Any other discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Next up is review and
I did
approval.
not hear from economic development, so that's just been, are they, oh, you're there? Okay.
I'm sorry.
I,
I apologize. Joe is stuck in traffic. He texted me. And he responded to you. We, the CF ones, there's 22 outstanding. We have received compliance back from 21. We're still, we still have not heard from PP Leasing Logistics after several attempts to reach out to them. We're still trying. That's the bad news. The good news is everybody's in substantial compliance from the CF
we were
ones.
kind of wait for the last group to come in
Right.
together rather than each meeting, so.
Yeah.
All right, well, if he gets here and has something for something, we can.
No, he prepared the memo. Everything's good.
So-
I would recommend everybody compliance except TT Logistics. We have one trailer.
Did I see an email on that?
All right.
I don't remember.
Yeah, Joe forwarded an email with his memo. 5 outstanding. We prepared the memo, there's 4 we have received. It's just 1. And we'll continue to hound them.
Is there any type of teeth, because we've never crossed this bridge before, of somebody who does not comply? Maybe no fault here. I would be interested in knowing.
If they don't comply, what can we do? Rhonda, do you know?
For the abatement.
All right, well, I can't remember.
Who sends that notice?
Yeah, I don't recall
We-
seeing it.
We've reached out to them, we've reached out on
I-
Jefferson County, we've sent it, and we have an
What
email
does it,
train
what does it say?
saying that now's the annual time to fill out your CF ones. It'll
say
be
that
like-
abatement be pulled?
It's in the agreement, something, but
I'd probably make that real clear.
we've never put one, I'm pretty sure we'll get it. A lot of times it's just a clerk that has changed or somebody in
Sure.
the company.
Not getting the right person.
Or the people think that it expires and still have a trailing year after the abatement, so we'll get it.
Just be consistent about it.
The biggest issue we've seen with being in compliance is not having the total payroll, they agree, but it's no way it's laying people off, it's people that can't find people.
Yeah, I
So
get that.
they make it tough.
It might be well though to let them know what could happen.
Yep, we will.
We are aware.
We, sort of
approving
stalking them at
authorities
home, asking, so we will keep it, so the next will be certified letters, we'll get it.
So maybe we did receive it, but I can't remember, so if you could send it out, we can just do it at the next meeting.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And hopefully we'll try to send the other one down.
It's like I remember, I was going through all my emails yesterday and I know I saw it, but I don't remember.
You want to make a motion to table it?
Yeah, sure.
Maybe you'll have it by then.
I will try.
Review
When I
and
say I can
approval
kill
of
the
the
CF
CF ones.
We have a motion to continue for Mr. Brown the next meeting, the review and approval of CF ones. Want a second? Second by Mr. Wyeth. Any other discussion? All in favor, state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, new business, public hearing for the recycling, Hendricks County 2025 recycling budget. I know Lynn couldn't be here today. Myself, Caleb, commissioners serve on this board along with 4 other members of the biggest towns. And the budget, there is budget estimate of $1,042,000. And this is $1,042,000, yes. So I will open the public hearing for the Hendricks County Recycling District's budget for 2025. Is there anybody here that wishes to speak on it? There is not. I'll close the public hearing. And just so y'all know, there is no tax rate associated with this. This is all based, income is based off of tipping fees that people pay to dump in the landfill here in Danville. So with that, did I open the public hearing? Yes.
Yes.
Close.
No votes necessary.
No votes necessary?
On this one.
Okay. Close public hearing, and we will acknowledge that we did the public hearing for that. All right. Next up is a public hearing for Hendricks County 2025 budget. I will open the public hearing for that. Is there anybody here that wishes to speak on the 2025 Hendricks County budget? There is not. With that, I'll close the public hearing. Nancy, do you have anything to talk about this at all? Or-
No, I followed your request of last meeting to invite the 4 leaderships courses to make recommendation outside of what you had said at the workshop, so.
And
We
basically,
received that.
yeah, so we received those. Hopefully you all saw those. It was just for pay, so we can put those into the thing. I was okay with all of them.
Yeah, I sent them yesterday, so.
Is there, do we motion, does this require multiple public hearings or do we just?
This is no vote, this
No
is a
vote.
public hearing, we will adopt next meeting.
Okay. So anybody have any comments on the budget before we move on? Public hearing is closed. Our budget, we just had it for that, so we'll vote on it in the next meeting. Okay. Next up is IT Assistant Director, adopted grade. Aaron?
And it's at the back of that, behind the email, not the first person on the board.
Morning. So during your budget hearings, the IT director had presented a new job description for an assistant IT director. You guys authorized for me to go ahead and send that over to first person. The information came back as a grade 33. So just asking for an approval for a grade 33 for the assistant IT director position.
I'd like to make a motion.
We'll move the assistant IT director, be elevated to 33.
Okay.
A motion, a second, any other discussion? All in favor, say so by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
And then Doug wanted to discuss possibly starting the person now because he has the funding.
Scheduled for it to start in 25, but I've got the funding now. It would make it easier on me to go ahead and get those changes done now, and then I can get the open position, start that hiring process before the end of the year.
At the 24 rates.
Correct.
Right,
24.
no,
Everything would be
the
at the 24 rates.
rates.
Because I've had that open position, there's funding in there.
So we don't meet require additional preparations. Okay, I'm fine with doing it.
So
This is
you've
a
got
good
enough money.
position all year.
Yes, yes. And then
You're talking about hiring, you're talking about advertising first, and then hiring somebody, and here we
I'll
are.
make the changes and then we'll advertise and hire them.
So you'd be lucky to have somebody by Thanksgiving anyway.
We'll cross our fingers. That's been the struggle right now in the technical world, so.
So would somebody like to make a motion to have Doug go ahead and
So moved.
fill that position and start looking for a new one since there is funding available in his payroll budget? Who made the motion?
I did.
Dave Wise made the motion, Caleb Brown made the second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say so by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries, thank you. Next up is Coroner Rick Morphew.
Morning.
I got Dan with me here. I forwarded you a letter that, that Dan had sent to me in reference to what's gonna be his chief deputy. As of December 23rd, I think. She is going to exhaust her part-time hours on the 22nd pay period, I believe. And when I talked to Dave Cox about this, he gave me some direction as to how to go about this, to basically make her full-time for pay periods, be 23 through 26. And then, of course, she'll transition into her, Dan's spot, Dan will transition into mine, and I'll go off the roads. So, and it's pretty imperative. I'll be quite honest, when I took over 8 years ago, it was chaotic. And here we are, we've opened a new office that we're in, by the way. I'll talk about that in a minute. But, lots of policies and procedures need to be changed and what have you. And she'll be an integral part of that. And so that's what I'm here to ask today is above my pay grade, to make her have the hours available to work full-time, pay periods 23 through 26.
No pay grade change.
No pay raise, no pay, I've got the money to do that with.
The problem falls in because of Obamacare. He couldn't work for any more hours. So if you don't make it full time, then she won't be working. If she runs out of hours under Obamacare.
So what you're asking really is that that position be made full-time temporarily,
For 3 pay periods. Yeah,
and then it will revert back to part-time.
exactly.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Cox, second by anybody?
I will.
Second by Mr. Scott. That's my question, is this, are we skirting or doing anything weird with employment law by doing this, by going, okay, you're part-time till now, and now we're making
We have to offer benefits.
benefits, right? But then it's okay, the position goes back to part-time again?
Well, starting January 1, she'll be full-time anyway, because she'll be the chief deputy, so we're not gonna issue with that. It's just.
Right, but we're supposed to deal with positions and not people, so we're making this position full-time, and then we can do that for 3 months, and then it goes back to,
Yeah, because their line item is currently set up where they have multiple people utilizing the same line item, so they're
Right.
paying several deputy coroners out of one budget line, I believe.
That's correct.
What happens if they just work more hours? what happens?
I'm sorry, say that again.
What happens if they just work more hours?
Then, then they're allowed to by part-time.
So obviously, they get fined by
But
the
I'm saying
feds.
like what's easier?
What's the penalty?
Yeah, like if it's up,
She has
I don't
to
know,
offer
$1,000,
insurance.
let her work more hours. I'm just asking what's the,
So the reason that there's a threshold is because of the Affordable Care Act. So
no,
the
I get
Affordable
that.
Care
I just, what happens? Like if she works the full-time hours and,
We have to offer her benefits.
I guess I don't know why we just wouldn't do that for a short period. If there's no big penalty to do it, I don't know why we wouldn't. If it's just offer benefits, let her work the hours and offer the benefits. That position isn't gonna stay full-time. That just seems odd to do, to me.
Does the bomber here fine you or anything?
You can get in trouble if you do not offer the hours, or if you do not offer the benefits when somebody is full-time, or when somebody is working over their threshold of hours, you can get into trouble,
It
yes.
just seems
I just
simpler.
see
to
more
me.
open.
I think it's
door.
cleaner just to make them full-time for 3 months, that
I
way we're
agree.
not having to offer benefits then.
But you about would have to make her by name full-time because her line item is all 20 part-time people.
So, does your motion include making as part her name?
Whatever's easiest.
Who made the motion? Dave Cox.
Yeah.
All right, so his motion includes the name of the person going to full-time through the end of the year, and then they'll,
And transition to
Yes.
chief deputy.
all right, who seconded that? Larry Scott. Any other discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you. And just for your information, we did move the office. It's open. We are operating as an office out of our new place at 1475 East Main. We hope to start cutting on October 1st as far as doing our autopsies. We're waiting on a couple tables to get here, but the place looks nice, and we'll get an open house by invitation to you here shortly.
Invitation is greatly accepted here, not by accident.
Yeah.
I get it.
I might be busy.
All right, well, thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
All right, next up are additional appropriations. Grant. We have an EMA grant.
Yeah.
The work release, personal services.
And that is out of the grant.
Out of the grant,
So
okay.
we never know what until
Right.
we're in the year. So
Is number 4 sort of the process of
that's the
Purchasing?
gifts, that's purchasing.
So then we have purchasing of some park, capital outlay, professional services for reassessment, work release, jail lit. Do you know what that's? 52,000.
Oh, that was Bridget's, last month she came to you with that request for IT to.
Okay, yes. That's that. Alternate dispute resolution personnel services, that's court stuff. Jury fees, because we're having some cases that we're gonna use more juries than we normally have, they ran through that budget. Detention fees for supplies. Highway bridge inspection, 70,000. What was that one for?
It's contracting.
Contract.
Yeah.
All right,
Mr. President, I move for the approval of items 1 through 11, emergency appropriation resolution.
all right, so I didn't open the public hearing yet.
Oh, I'm
Did I?
sorry.
We'll open the public hearing. Does anybody in the audience have anything to say about these additional appropriations? With that, that's a no? Okay, yes,
No.
we'll close public hearing. Yes.
I move for the approval of items 1 through 11 on the emergency appropriation resolution.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Hessen to approve items 1 through 11 emergency appropriations. Second by Mr. Scott. Any other discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. 7-0. Then we have 2 transfers, local road and streets from looks like he's spending less money on salt, more money on guardrails. That's that one. And then the other one is prosecutor, and this is for the supplementals because of shifting.
So moved.
We have a motion from Mr. Wyeth, second from Mr. Brown. Any other discussion on the reallocation of funds resolution? All in favor, say so by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries 7-0. All right. We have status of funds that, and then we have a benefits meeting that starts at 10:15. With that, is there anybody in the audience that wanted to talk about anything that didn't get a chance to talk about? All right, we'll do,
Just a quick note, your support to expand W.S. Gibbs Memorial Park is greatly appreciated. So we'll continue to keep the ball rolling, but thank you very much.
no problem. Yes, Mr. Dodd, Commissioner Dawes.
We lost a good person, Dick Thompson, this week, so keep his family in your thoughts and prayers. I believe his service will be at Tri-West High School on Saturday, this coming Saturday at 1 p.m. with calling there starting at 10 a.m.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Wicker?
No, sir.
Mr. Brown?
Mr. Ayers, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Do you know if, when it comes to NDOT matching funds for grants, do they ever do a 50-50
On the community crossings?
on, like Ronald Reagan?
Yes.
Those
If you
80-20.
If you offer it up, they'll go 50-50. We did that at
Would you be more like,
100 south, 200 south, and I think we may have done that on the 300 north, 136 section.
would you be more likely to get it done
Yes.
quicker?
Yes, the more you offer, the more they are normally, yes.
All right.
Yep.
Sidebar. Later.
Okay.
Thanks.
Mr. Wyeth?
Just elaborate on Denny. Dick Thompson was a great public servant. Dick is one of few, if maybe only, I don't know, that served in both chambers of the legislature, the House and the Senate. And I had the great privilege of serving as a page in both chambers. Matter of fact, I was MIA one time because I got lost up there. But knowing the Thompson family, knowing Dick and Clara for a long time, their health has been failing, as it would. But former Sheriff Brett Clark and myself had nursery school in their house with Clara and kindergarten together. So I've known the Thompsons for a long, long time. So prayers and thoughts to the family, and their time got moved up. Denny's right, that is the correct time from 10 to 1. I'm expecting that to be a pretty large turnout. So if you want to attend, you probably better get there early. So prayers and thoughts to the Thompson family.
Thank you. Mr. Scott?
I too knew Dick Thompson for a long time, and that's absolutely correct. He did serve as our state rep and then also as a state senator. And on a personal note, when I was the Montgomery County engineer, it was in the winter time, we had a snowstorm going on, and I was in my office late. And so I was trying to get to my car, and here we are in Crawfordsville, and it's probably 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. And there's this person coming towards me, it's dark as all get out. And then we got about this close, and then Dick said, "Larry, what are you doing here?" And I go, "Dick, what are you doing here in this snowstorm?" So that's a personal note, obviously. And, but he did a lot of good things for Hendricks County, and he was also the Republican County Chairman at one point. And I'm not sure how long he served on the council. It may have been 20 years, I'm not sure. So that's my thoughts about Dick.
Thank you. Mr. Hessen?
No, I was just thinking, but I know Dick served at least 2 terms, maybe 3, here on the council, and was with his background and the General Assembly and all the knowledge he brought with him, he was an invaluable member of the council. And well, I did. This is the first I knew of his passing, and yeah, he'll be missed.
Thank you. Mr. Cox? anything?
Did any of you get room? Did you get a room?
I did not, I didn't even try, right? If you can't, if it's not today, you can just cancel me, because I can't make it happen.
So you did get a room?
I did,
Did
yes.
you get a room?
In Madison.
Okay, I was curious.
Yeah, apparently there are rooms available in Carrollton, across the river, the Hampton Inn. And that's probably the closest now. Yeah, I kept trying. And finally, there was a, I guess, a
Opening.
cancellation.
All right, with that, I guess we will adjourn, and if I have to make some motion to do that.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Wicker, second by Mr. Brown, all in favor, say so by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0. We will meet across the hall, is it in the big conference room? At 10:15. I'm glad we moved it up.
Brad, don't forget to sign the paper.
Wow, I'm getting excited to get out of here.